There we go. Okay. All right. Hello and welcome to my Market Open live stream. And today, I just wanted to go over a couple things, reviewing some of what I was talking about yesterday. So, for a while now, on most Fridays, Chinese stocks seem to have a good day, and a lot of them into uh, a lot of them had a good Thursday as well. But let's just take a look at what some of these are doing in the pre-market. So you see SE up 3%, BDU up a bit, BABA up 2%, kind of giving some of that up, and JD, Neo up huge, XPEV up huge, and PDD up a decent amount, and then you have Tiger, Billy, DD is flat, and then Futu. So, and those are just a few of them, but they're kind of the ones I pick out. So, if you're kind of risk averse and didn't want to swing overnight on those, perfectly understandable. But that might offer some opportunities. We'll see if these flush it open. They often do, and then if they show signs of reversing, you might be able to get something out of that. So in terms of what the flow was like going in, and why I brought these Chinese stocks up, let me get into menu here. Yeah. All right, so we can take a look at like a Neo, what the activity was going into it. You can see a lot of the chains for today are bullish at a couple of more popular ones, 17 and 18, which were some really, really cheap lottos. And these has a chance to go in the money. So that's going to be a pretty big winner, especially the 17. So that, something to consider. I mean, you can go kind of small on these and do pretty well if you choose to do that. But like I said, I mean, there should be some opportunities during the day as well. And take a look at XPEV. Similar kind of story here. A lot of bullish activity, and a lot of this pretty far, well, not too far out of the money. So XPEV, sitting around $25, and these contracts, yeah, 25 and some 24 as well, and then some higher ones into next week too. So there should be some trades there. I mean, you can, if it's looking like it's going to give something back, you could certainly short that. When stocks have some bullish momentum, I tend not to do that very much, but you might have some opportunities there. So a lot of stocks, just kind of in addition to the Chinese stuff, across the board seem to be having a pretty good pre-market. We've got Coin giving some back. This is good if you're wanting to enter it today, just to see if it how far down it wants to test, and maybe it'll reverse. Crypto in general doing pretty well. I've talked about Riot and Mara before. Hut is another one, a small cap to consider. It's a small cap that's gotten smaller. Hut used to, we used to trade it and kind of in this zone here, this sort of, $5 to $8 move, and then, 5 to 6 or whatever. You could just kind of do it over and over again, and then everything just broke down. it kind of collapsed with the rest of crypto. So HUT here, you kind of wonder, there's this downside gap to $1.50. Is it gonna go there if if Bitcoin drops to 18,000 or something like that? I imagine that that could happen, but this is kind of a tradable zone, I think, when crypto shows some life. And HUD is one that's good for options or shares. And let's just take a look at what's going on with HUD today. All right, so slightly divergent COPE, yellow line above price. And the activity yesterday, overwhelmingly bullish on it. Although the most active chains, there are certainly some bearish ones here, but this one actually has some appeal to me. June 10th, 250C for 34 bucks, something like that. So if you are wanting to make I don't want to say make a bet. It sounds like gambling. I guess it is. But if you have a thesis that crypto stocks are going to show some signs of life into June, and you wanted to start a swing on something, this is kind of a low investment of capital that could easily double if this crypto does turn around. So that's one I might be thinking about, looking at June on HUT. All right. Now, as we get into tech more generally, I want to take a look at a couple things. So the cybersecurity sector had a really nice day yesterday, and Crowd is way up this morning. And why is Crowd up this morning? Well, you saw it spike after hours. They didn't have earnings or anything, but who did have earnings was Palo Alto Networks, which is currently up 11% on earnings. So this is a good example of some potential sympathy plays. It's a sector that does at times show some strength anyway. I had watch listed Ned. I talked about D-Dog in my pre-market stream last time, and it looks like Crowd kind of might be the one today to watch, see if it can break through these pre-market highs. And it's not out of the realm of possibility that this could go up 10-12% today, just if some of this bullish momentum that we're seeing in the pre-market were to continue. So I will have my eye on cybersecurity today, and just to see kind of what they want to do. Enphase is another. This is a solar stock that I like. Had a nice day yesterday. I wasn't seeing anything particular in the flow about Enphase that jumped out at me, but it's definitely one to kind of keep your eye on, especially if we take a look at where we're at on the day chart. So it actually held up pretty well to that sell-off the other day, and we're kind of back in this zone here. This 165, and I think 200 is a reasonable target for Enphase to kind of get back into this zone. Maybe first up kind of is to 185. We'll see if we have any contracts for that on it. Let me just see what the Enphase buyers are doing. And there are some cheaper solar stocks too, like FSLR. TAN is the ETF on it. But in any case, so you can see some weeklies here. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so this this I think is a reasonable target, and I'm going to track this chain and kind of see what whales want to do with it. But 617 200C, I kind of see as a possibility. You'll notice here 527 220. That's too far out of the money, too fast. It's why that chain is bearish. So this is one of the things that I think that you have to understand about option flow, is that it's all contextual. So end phase can be bullish, but a chain that is outrageously out of the money and about to expire is going to end up being bearish, because large whales are not going to really be interested in buying something like that, but they're happy to sell it to you. So so the overall picture on end phase is bullish. Individual chains will be bearish depending on their feasibility. So when I look at this, the chart and the option flow give me some indication that $200 is a reasonable target for end phase for 1 month from now. And it doesn't mean I'm going to necessarily swing it, although I might. But that is a tradable expiration and contract. And also, if you're trading something, a June contract at $400, and the stock just has one bad day, the trade isn't going to blow up on you in the same way it would when you're trading a weekly. Just a 1% drop when you have a weekly is a disaster, and that is a lot of pressure, and it's hard to time the market to that, quite to that extent. So so yeah, if you have a bullish thesis, expect a few bumps in the road. Something like a monthly that's out of the money but feasible is kind of what you might want to target if you're wanting to trade options, but you want to kind of slow things down a bit. That's something you might consider. Okay, so so end phase, another one of my favorites, and Dash saw a bounce yesterday and is looking pretty good pre-market. I sometimes, on these days like this, that are a little harder actually than days that open red to trade. But when things ran, I look for stocks that are kind of promising but haven't made some massive pre-market move where I feel like they might run out of gas. So I look at Dash and I wonder, how much room does this have today, and where might the whales take it? Dash could easily make a 6, 8, 9% move on a good day. It's that oversold. Okay, so nothing in the picture here is that promising on it at this point. Some of the individual chains. Yeah, I do see some weeklies, some bearish puts, some bearish calls. So yeah, there's nothing. Dash might have a good day, but there's nothing in the flow to indicate a lot of optimism for me for today. I do see that there are a lot of sold puts that are bullish for later. So might not be into Dash today. We'll see. All right. Now, Snow and Twillo, these are two stocks that definitely have a lot of potential when the market sees any kind of attempt to reverse. These are stocks that are way down from highs like a lot of stuff. So on Twillo, we do see a kind of cope divergence here, so that's good. See a lot of mostly bullish activity yesterday, and then here I like this one. So 107C 520, and we can see that we're already at 105, so that has a chance to go in the money. So that was a excellent contract there. And pretty bullish kind of across the board. We see 520 as well. When you're trading, one of the things you want to do is you want to try to hit contracts with a lot of open interest, and because that helps you exit the trade faster, and it also tends to shrink the bid ask spread a bit. So there's no reason for me to go to 109 or 110 just because it's cheaper. If I were to do that, if I want to go 109, 110, I'd probably go next week's contract instead of playing zero DTE. Zero DTE is very, very risky. Profits, arrive and disappear very fast. So if you're wanting to reduce risk, you might want to avoid those. But anyway, so I see a lot of promise there in Twillo today to make a decent run. And we'll go to Snow as well. And Snow, similar kind of deal. We've got this 160C. So a lot of these overnight zero DT. Well, this is actually nothing too spectacular, but it might run. We'll see. I do have some levels on Snow. Let's see. These are levels I kind of set up the other day. And where am I at? Yeah, okay. So you can see here was my call trigger, and Snow had so I set this up on Wednesday as a call trigger and a put trigger, and you can see it broke down below the put trigger, kind of made a comeback yesterday, and then has been toying around with and bouncing off of this line. So this 149.63 is actually a level I might use for Snow today if I want to enter a trade, to see it hold this level or thereabouts, and as a kind of springboard to push higher. And this is what you want out of a trigger. You want it to, like, it gave you a retest yesterday, passed that and went up, came back down, and just bounced off of it a few times, consolidated, dipped below, attempted to reclaim it, dropped in the after hours. Probably on not very much volume. It's not really anything that matters that much. And then kind of with the market, came back pre-market, and then is kind of messing around this line again. And again, not a lot of volume pre-market on it, but it's going to be an interesting level to watch today. Is 149.55. Okay, so anyone who knows me knows that I like oil stocks. So let's take a look at those. And all right, so we'll start with my favorite, Oxy. All right, Oxy today had this spike pre-market, kind of gave it up. If we're going to look at futures on it, oil futures are flat. So I would look, intraday for oil futures to make some kind of move. And, these oil stocks could certainly be playable. Some levels on Oxy. Apologize for the cats in the background. All right. So the levels I have on Oxy me see here. And yeah, okay. So 65.10, 62.91. Those are my triggers. And that put trigger especially, I don't think we'll probably see it today, but I would actually, given where it's starting, look for that as a potential spot to bounce rather than to play a put. The only way I'd consider playing a put on it is if oil futures just tank during the day, because I don't know that we're going to get that much of a drawdown, and so you can see Oxy kind of bouncing a little bit, but so 65.10, and kind of right around here. Yeah, so this was a point of some brief consolidation and a couple spikes, attempts to reclaim that. So if it reclaims this during pre-market, which we got 20 minutes left and it seems to be moving up, I would just watch that level at open. Oxy sometimes will just take off and fly. If you want to catch a quick scalp on it while it's doing that, that's something that's possible too. But we'll just see on that. Probably going to see the same story in a lot of oil stocks, up around 1% on a lot of these. CLR is a kind of lower volume one you can consider. CLR often is a stock. It's a stock I know well. It's local here to Oklahoma City, but it will kind of lag behind the rest of the sector a bit, and then make its move. So if you see oil running and CLR is a few percentage points behind, you can often catch a move on it there. And you can see it's been bouncing around here, this 54 to 62. If this were to dip again into the mid 50s, I would absolutely be all over it, because I'm pretty bullish on oil into the summer. So you can start to look at July and August contracts, things like that. Really, the best trades that I've made since I've been doing this were in oil, because it was the sector I kind of really buckled down on and tried to learn. And the timing on it worked out, where I learned to read option flow. I was mostly in oil, and it was in November, and I started to see a lot of promise for the next year. And so I bought a bunch of leaps on oil, and did really well on that. Also has been good for day trades as well. And during the uptrends, buying when it drops, when it's red, has paid off. And now we entered into kind of this zone here, where again it's consolidating, and we're just going to kind of look for a move higher for CLR to break 62 and kind of take off from there. I want to check on natural gas futures real quick. See what we got going there. Yeah. Okay. So natural gas futures are down today. So there's a potential for puts on UNG, and that's something that might be a play. But another one that should kind of be on your radar if you trade energy. So we'll see what UNG is doing. Yeah, it's down 197. That can go down a lot further if these futures stay low. But the reverse ETF on it, hold, and we can see it's up 387. This in a day trade, on a day when natural gas is pulling back, is so profoundly beaten down that you can see it go 10, 15, 18%. And its gains are going to outpace the losses in the natural gas stocks, if that makes sense. So it does have options. You can play those. You can just play the shares. But cold is one I would watch today if you're trading energy, just to see what it wants to do with this pullback in natural gas prices. Any pullback in natural gas for the time being, to me, is temporary. I think overall the uptrend is still there. There's just too many geopolitical factors at play that are going to keep that where it's going. All right, so we'll do one more quick check of the indices, and then I'll wrap up the stream and let you get to your trading prep. So we can see really good morning by QQQs, held on to some of its gains, and kind of the same deal with SPY. So we enter the day with some bullish momentum. We're just going to kind of see if that can actually pan out and hold throughout the day, or if we end up selling off into close and giving it all back. And no one really knows. All you can do is be prepared on the stocks that with the levels that you understand, and the flow reads to back you up. That's always my whole approach. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will be back on for a closing stream today. We'll wrap up the week, and everybody have a great trading day, and I will see you this afternoon.